The exchange of mana, the spirit, the feeling. You feel something is completely different than other people. And after a while, you start to vibrate, and the mana, the power, the source of power that is exchanged between two bodies. The spiritual power from one individual to the next. That's how I feel it. That's what it is to me.
For the last year, 18 women from the Kauai High Canoe Club have been training to cross the Ali Nui Haha Channel. It's one of the 7 roughest crossings on the planet. This is their last practice before Coach Manny Vincent leads them from the shores of Keokea Beach on the Big Island of Hawaii to the shores of Hana on the island of Maui. The crossing will take place in 2 days, and this is a light practice. 2 hours of crew change drills.
What do you just change now? 3, 4, and 5.
Say 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
1, 3, 2. Now number 3. These are 4. The other side.
My number. I don't know.
What do you call a frame of mind? Sense of being. How are you focusing? Right now you are totally confused.
There are 3 teams of 6 women, and that was our strategy, to do practices with those teams. At times after an hour, we would switch off and go with different women on each of the 3 crews, just so that Manny could see how well everybody adjusted and worked with each other. He laid the path. He gave us the knowledge, the coming together, being able to work together.
I always handpick the individual to make the crossing. Sometimes I make a mistake, and if I make a mistake, they usually don't hang around after a while. And a lot has to do with the attitude. Not that they're physically or not physically fit, it's the attitude. Will they accept what I say? Will they accept my instructions? And with me, you cannot say, well, maybe. There's no maybe with me. Either you do it or you don't do it. And the closer it gets to the crossing, it's not scary. It's just a feeling that you are responsible for everybody. You alone. Then you get that sanctuary on the side. I don't know if our coconut trees still there. 2 couple trees were planted.
When did you plant them?
The day we got there, 2004.
That was 6 years ago.
Was that the first crossing?
Our first crossing.
Really?
The channel has only been crossed 2 times by a team of women, and Coach Manny has led both journeys. And only 6 women have done it both times. Izzy Kala'au is one of those women. They're flying to Maui to visit Nu'u, the arrival place of the first crossing. When the team finished the crossing, they planted coconuts from the birthplace of King Kamehameha. They're hoping to see their progress, as well as to see the channel from a different perspective.
I try to figure out how these people did it in the old days. Why? Well, to them was a necessity. This is the only form of transportation they had to get across. Paddling, sailing, canoe, whatever it was.
For many hundreds of years, the Hawaiian people paddled between these islands, whether by outrigger canoe or sailing canoe, in boats crafted from mature koa wood. They tamed this channel for whatever waited on the other side, war or family. When King Kamehameha ruled the islands, he established districts, and in the interests of unification, he made the southern shores of Maui and the northern shores of Hawaii one district. Today, many families live as their ancestors did, divided by this deep and windy passage. There are many opinions about when and why people stopped making the passage by canoe. What is known is that once they stopped paddling across the channel, the knowledge of how they charted their course and from which points they would navigate has been lost.
I have a strong feeling all this happened when World War II came about. Nobody went nowhere for 6, 7 years. Then I think somewhere along the line that whole thing was lost. It was revived in the early 50s, 51, 52. But then when it came back, it went into competition. It became a sport, a fun thing, a challenging thing, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't a necessity anymore. Everybody flew across. Nobody wanted to paddle. Yeah, that's the thing of the subject will always be there in the mind of the ladies, certainly. Put the first crew on, took off. As soon as we get out of the lee of Upolu, we hit 10, 12 foot seas, big waves. And the more we came up, we made progress, the stronger the current got. The wind picked up a little bit more, so the drift was really tough. But my mind was set on the landmark. And we were just about a mile out. So I told her, when I tell you turn left, you turn left, all hell is going to break loose. This canoe is going to fly, you're going to surf. You're going to get the wind at your back and it's going to go and surf all the way. See that point? You aim for that point. Don't miss it. And went to Nu'u. The beauty of the whole thing was for the women, discovering who they were as individuals. That was really something. For me, I just pointed the direction. Gone. Animals came inside here, wildlife. Ate all the 2 coconut trees. Yeah, this is where we bought the first trip from Kohala, Upolu to Nu'u. We bought a Ho'okupu, 2 young coconut trees, that big, for the land. We planted that here 6 years ago. Now the thing is all dried up or destroyed. Well, maybe one day we'll come back and bring a couple more trees. Ho'okupu.
The day before the crossing, the women gather at Keokea to ready their boat for the rough passage ahead. Every knot and connection is crucial for the 6-hour ordeal. There's 3 things that they'll need to make it safely to the other side: preparation, a solid boat, and the blessing of good weather.
Aloha, I'm Kahealani Vincent.
I'm Catherine Groves.
Name's Casey Stahlsmith.
Kim Kimmy.
Rachel Gillis.
Ava Williams.
Carol La'au Silva.
I've been paddling since I was 16.
5 years.
2 years.
34 years.
There's a lot of tradition and culture with this crossing. The tradition of families going across to visit their other families, to have luau's, the tradition of King Kamehameha himself going across.
For me, it is a big feat that I am looking forward to doing. It is also a pathway of my ancestors that I would like to complete.
Some of that knowledge was lost in the last 100 years, and I believe that Manny Vincent, this is part of his lineage, and his goal is to bring that history back.
Don't just take things for granted. Remember what I said? That's not yours. Strange land that is somebody else's land that you Malihini out there. It's a different environment. But you gotta respect what's out there. Okay? You might see things that you never thought you'd see in your life, but it's there. The second crossing, we experienced some current that runs counter to the wind flow. And it was pretty hair-raising at one time, seeing the paddlers being swept under the canoe, going in a different direction from the wind. And that they had to adjust. Situations where they made changes, they had to adjust all that. Because when you try to make the first change on that, in that area, the ladies were swept under the canoe. The canoe just like ran them over for some reason. The canoe going one way and the paddlers were going someplace else.
Each crossing traced the paths of the ancient paddlers from different points. And until the team's first crossing, none of these paths had been paddled for over 50 years. The first from Upolu to Nu'u, and the second from Upolu to Makena. This crossing charts the northernmost point on a path that was once common to the people of Kohala and Hana. The distance is 35 miles from Keokea to Hana. What makes this passage so dangerous is the depth of the channel, 6,100 feet in a valley created by the union of two of the world's largest mountains, Mauna Kea on the island of Hawaii and Haleakala on Maui. With a bottom of that depth, in the heart of the world's largest ocean, the energy passing through this valley creates currents of enormous intensity. But what sets this avenue apart from all others is the amount of wind created between these two giant mountains. It is constant and it is fierce. Those two forces make the Alenuihaha Channel one of the 7 most dangerous channels on the planet. From the hull of an outrigger canoe, there's no devices, nothing but the human will to move and steer the boat. A steersperson at the rear steers by paddle, while Coach Manny directs their path through the changing current, using the same technique as the ancients.
Manny will call out 1 finger, 2 fingers, and then she keeps it on that course.
If he tells us to, like, for instance, go for that tree, he wants us to go no more than like 2 fingers away from the trees.
So we'll be picking clouds.
Yeah, because we're not going to go straight for the island. We're going to go down a little bit first and then come around.
Some of them are scared. They don't know. The unknown, they have no idea. And you know they're scared, but they don't back off. And as long as they don't back off, they're going to do it.
As I'm looking at the water right now, this looks really good. It really does. It's clear, you got your winds, you got your movement in the water, so this looks really good.
Well, I've been watching the news too much, so I suppose it's supposed to be up a little bit, the winds, and maybe the swells, but it would be really nice if it was like this.
It's water like this tomorrow, so it's a breeze. It's gotta be like this.
We ask for the right conditions, the right currents, the right swells, the right wind. Thank you for my bonding family. Thank you for all my sisters, for Uncle Manny, Auntie Eunice, Kahea, and all my paddling sisters and brothers.
It's a big honor to be asked to cross the channel, not only to perpetuate and carry on Hawaiian traditions and culture, but just to be part of such a strong group of women.
We have to be able to look to each other and work as one. I kept thinking the journey was going to start when we got in the water, but what I realized is the journey started 9 months ago. I thank all of the other women for letting me be a part of this crew, and I thank Manny and the Kauai Canoe Club, and we'll see you on the other end.
The escort boats meet at Kauai Harbor at 4 a.m. to begin the trek north, where they'll rendezvous with the first team leaving Keokea. The weather report at midnight was favorable, and the command is given to proceed with the crossing. It's a 2-hour commute to Keokea. Plenty of time to test the waters.
E hawi mai ama ko ike ala. I mai ka ikama ko hana. Ma ko holoana aku I ko mawana akea. E hawi mai ama ko I kai kaika no ka holomua pono. E nana akia I mai ama ko. E ho'okele pono I ka va'a me ka pili pū I ka makani me ke kai.
The escort boat is over a half an hour late. Looking at the seas from shore, the team starts to question the conditions.
Getting a cell phone call right now. Okay. The conditions were pretty crazy down there that morning, and we waited a long time for the escort boat, so I really didn't actually know if we were going to go for sure or not until we saw the escort boats coming around the corner.
We'll see the boats over there.
The journey up the coast from Kauai was calm and smooth, but as the boat reaches the northern tip of the island, the winds and the currents kick in full force.
We got about 5 or 6 miles up the coast, started feeling the wind, got another couple miles, started taking spray over the bow.
What was supposed to be a 2-hour commute has taken 3 hours. The escort boats are taking a pounding.
Okay, shall we go?
I think we should go.
1, 2.
The winds are 20 knots. The seas are 10 to 12-foot swells. The escort boats receive a small craft advisory warning. But under these conditions, there's no way of communicating with the team on the ground, and the first group decides to launch as planned.
Good luck, you guys!
The skippers of the escort boats agree the conditions against the current will be too severe. The only way to avoid damaging the hull is to be one with the ocean. Manny leads the canoe straight into the channel instead of heading north as planned. Being far west of their desired position means they're gonna have to battle the current at some point to reach Hana.
See that, you go about 3 points to your right. Right like that. So now you can see the tip.
Once the team is safely away from the island, the winds calm down and the swells settle from 10 feet to a manageable 7 feet, allowing the women to get a feel for the boat in open water and make necessary crew changes. But the calm doesn't last. The deep channel continues to exert its force on the canoe and the paddlers. A local search and rescue plane spots the team and circles for a few minutes. The boats are safe, albeit a bit behind schedule.
once I got on the escort boat, I realized how rough the water really was.
The middle was a little bit different than I expected because the middle we had 8 foot seas and the wind was about 20. And I felt the wind was probably going to be maybe about 15, maybe. This is 20 and but we were not going to turn back. Today, halfway across, we just got to go to Maui.
The course change at the start of the trip has put them far south of their desired position. They're now facing the same currents and winds they faced from Mauna Kea, only this time from the force of the Great Haleakala.
The 8 to 10 foot swells was no problem. I loved that. But we knew that we were going to take a lot longer once we got into the middle of the Alenuihaha Channel. I called back to Kahea saying, Kahea, we're not moving. I mean, it looks like we're moving, but that island is not getting any closer.
We got caught in the current. That was challenging because I didn't know how to get out of it. So we stayed at one spot for about an hour and a half.
When we hit that current, we determined it was between 3 and 4 knots traveling south. They didn't seem like they were moving. It felt like forever.
That water was just like a washing machine. You didn't know what to expect. You just had to think ahead.
The women paddle for 2 crews, but make very little progress. The deep water currents, combined with the heavy off-mountain winds, are once again too much for the escort boats to handle. Just a few miles from the island, but far south of their planned course, Manny decides to make another course correction.
By the time we were outside of Kipahulu, try to get as high as we could, just try to come into Hana from the top. But the current already had the grip of the canoe.
He tells steersperson Kim Kimmy to head for shore.
The minute she made that left turn, like I said, almost a 90-degree angle, I could see the canoe moving forward. So all of a sudden, we kind of broke loose of the thing, but inside, the current was on the outside. So by the time they get to Alao Island, well, in about 20 minutes, we were in Hana in 2 shakes. Excitement, especially when they landed, they were so, I mean, it was on a high. And they stayed on that high for quite a while, quite a few weeks. So it means an awesome feeling, that's what it was.
Everybody goes, how did you feel? I said, I just was spiritually taken in. It was like this warm spirit coming over you. Everybody's like, so describe it. I said, you can't. I was in awe. I was happy. I was cheering. You know, we worked hard for this. For me, it's like I'm coming back home.
Oh, pulling in was amazing. Cried just thinking about it.
Oh, it was difficult. You know, it was like Kauiki was like challenging us, and the current was against us, and it just. And I kept asking in my mind, "Can we have permission?
Yeah.
Can we come?
Yeah.
And then we saw the beach and all the people on the beach and heard the chanting, and it was like the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. It was great.
And we were holding on to the canoe in the water until it was okay to come on. And then she waved and she was chanting in Hawaiian, and it was just beautiful.
Yeah, I consider that proper protocol when you visit another island. You don't just barge in and surprise people. That's why we've had a lot of wars. The ladies, most of them recovered by the time we got across. They pulled through really good.
If the seas were less forgiving, if the winds were more terrible, if the boat wasn't sound, then maybe they wouldn't have made it. Perhaps if these women had never come together, then maybe none of this would have happened. But on this day, the seas forgave, and the winds were kind, and the boat was sure, and a coach with a not-so-crazy idea, and a team of women strong of heart found the shores of Hana, bearing gifts from the birthplace of King Kamehameha. Wrapped in palm fronds, dried fish and coconut trees, just like the ancient paddlers who came to visit family years ago. The team reminds us that we are human, and that we all need challenges to endure. But there's more to it than that. It's spirit, it's family, it's mana.